No, Mikey, this is not right. I'll tell you what's not right. Toto Wolff is a very, very rich man, and he just got even richer after selling 15% of his shares at Mercedes F1. Welcome back, guys, to Racing. Sorry, I almost forgot what channel I was on there for a minute. Yeah, no, we're not going to be throwing anybody through the ropes. Do not worry about that. But we can confirm that Toto Wolff has indeed sold 15% of his shareholding in the Mercedes Formula One team, and he sold it to American billionaire George Kurtz. Now, we did make a video a few days ago saying that Toto Wolff was considering selling a certain amount of shares. Back then, I think I labelled it 5% because I believe that's what the rumoured news was, but nah, it's actually went up to 15%. So Kurtz, who is the founder of the cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike, is also that's a sponsor of Mercedes, so I guess that's where they've got the connection. The deal values Mercedes F1 at $6 billion, a record for an F1 team. McLaren were valued at $3.5 billion in a change of ownership structure in September. Wolff's holding company owns 1/3 of Mercedes F1, so the shareholding he is selling equates to 5% of the team. So, yeah, there you go. There's that 5% back. Wolff, who will net $300 million, which is about £230 million, from the deal, will stay on as team principal and chief executive officer while the governance of Mercedes F1 continues unchanged. Kurtz, whose stake is coming out of his personal funds rather than his company's, said the valuation put on the team was in line with the market, adding that if you look at the sports valuations across the globe, they're all up. Must be great. Yeah, the funds didn't come out of his company. It came out of his own personal funds. You know, he went into his own personal back pocket. Yeah, he had his jeans on. He put his hands into his pockets and he just pulled out £230 million. What a fucking life. Kurt said the following after the deal went through. He said, quote, Formula One is really at an inflection point where it's a thriving business. If you're making an investment like this, you believe that the sport is going to grow. F1 is going to grow, and the team's valuations are going to grow, and you're going to be able to contribute to that growth. End of quote. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see if he's any. I mean, this guy I don't think will really have any sort of part, though, in the team. It's literally just him buying some shares. This is not going to change Mercedes in the slightest. Wolff then spoke about the deal. He said, quote, George's background is unusual and it's brave. He's a racer, a loyal sporting ambassador for Mercedes-AMG, and an exceptional entrepreneur. He understands both the demands of racing and the realities of building and scaling technical businesses. That combination brings specific insight that is increasingly relevant to the future of Formula One. End of quote. So, yeah, listen, Formula One is becoming a big business. Even in like recent years, we've seen movies. You've seen that Brad Pitt movie. There's been the Formula One Drive to Survive thing. There's no doubt that Formula One has hit a popularity that I don't think it's ever really seen before, especially in mainstream. Personally, I think we're in like the worst era of F1 ever, and take me back to the early 2000s or the late 2000s or the 90s or whatever. Take me back to those days. But overall, across the board, I don't think you can deny that popularity in F1 is probably at an all-time high. So, yeah, even Netflix are getting involved, and you seem to have more fans than ever before. Even you look at Twitter and stuff, and even you're getting like younger fans. And normally, I think back in the day, F1, you would almost have associated F1 to be a sport that was watched mainly by like middle-aged to old men kind of deal, you know. But nowadays we're seeing that pretty much all kids, all genders are all getting involved, and they all seem to love F1. So yeah, and even with the newer drivers and stuff, I think as social media gets bigger, Instagram and all this stuff, and TikTok, and you just there seems to be more interaction than ever before now with social media, and I reckon that's probably contributed to the growing trend in the younger generation, because they can probably relate to the drivers more now, and they get to communicate with the drivers more than ever before. But yeah, for me, it's personally not my favourite era of F1, but that doesn't really matter. What does matter is that Toto Wolff has sold a shitload of his shares, and he's made a lot of money. So congratulations to Toto Wolff. I'm sure that will help him sleep a little bit easier tonight. Not that, let's be honest, Toto Wolff could lose he could lose $1 billion, couldn't he? And he'd sleep like a baby. That's not going to keep him up. But anyway, guys, that's it. Leave a like, leave a comment. I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, though, peace.